Here's the scoop big update in the Sister Wives universe. Kody Brown is officially down to one wife, Robyn now. After years of working through the realities of plural marriage, his relationships with Christine, Janelle, and Mary have all ended. Yeah, all three women have chosen to part ways from their spiritual marriages with Kody, leaving Robyn as the last one standing. And honestly, Kody's not keeping it under wraps anymore. He's not holding anything back, and he's certainly not sorry for the love that he has for Robyn. In fact, he's more outspoken than ever. In a new preview of the Sister Wives one-on-one special, he speaks candidly, and things get heated. Now, let's break this down a little. Within only 14 months, Kody's entire plural marriage system pretty much dissolved. Christine led the way, announcing her departure publicly. That really got things underway. Next was Janelle, and soon after, Mary. Each of the relationships ended, one by one, and now Kody is no longer living the polygamous lifestyle he once made such a big fuss about. He's now doing monogamy, with Robyn as his sole woman. And in all honesty, that adjustment hasn't been without incident. In this next one-on-one interview, Kody truly opens up, but also gets quite riled up when host Sukanya Krishnan brings up the frequent controversy of favoritism, namely, that he always seemed to be favoring Robyn over the rest of them. Kody doesn't hold back in his reaction. He gets choked up, defensive. You can tell it's something he's grappled with for a long time. For years, viewers have called out small moments where it seemed like Robyn received more attention, more compassion, more support. And it seems like the other wives felt it too. But now, Kody's claiming he's sick of bearing guilt for being intimate with the woman who's still in his life. He claims he's done feeling guilty for loving Robyn the way he loves her. And let's be real, in his mind, it sort of does. If 3 of your relationships have dissolved and only 1 is left, should you actually keep minimizing it? Kody's saying no. He's willing to own it. He's taking Robyn's side completely, without shame, without question, and without asking anyone's forgiveness for how deep their connection goes. He's made it very apparent. He's no longer in a plural marriage. He's moved on. The dynamic has changed entirely. What began as a large, non-traditional family with several wives has become a one-on-one traditional marriage. And Robyn is the single partner that's still dedicated to seeing it through with Kody. But naturally, that doesn't preclude there not being residual feelings, particularly from the rest of the family. Even as Kody attempts to move on, the legacy of what transpired with Christine, Janelle, and Mary hangs heavily. It's present in his voice. He discusses the hurt, the confusion, and the feeling of abandonment he experienced when each one of them left. It wasn't merely a matter of breaking up for him, it was the disintegration of a whole lifestyle. What's ironic is that even when Robyn is still there, still loyal, still in love, she's also in the middle of all of it. Because now, there's just this dramatic change, from being one of 4 to being the lone one left. And Robyn herself has testified previously that she had believed in plural marriage. She didn't want to be the last one left standing. But here they are. And Kody. He's accepting this new reality. He's calling it what it is, a monogamous marriage. No more acting as if it's still a shared lifestyle. No more juggling the needs and feelings of 4 different women. It's just him and Robyn now. And as he says, he's not going to feel guilty about that anymore, not when she's the one who stood by him through it all. It's a turning point of the show, of the family, and particularly for Kody himself. For years, he attempted to keep it all together, attempted to be a husband to 4 wives, attempted to make the plural model successful, and now he's calling it quits. He's deciding to quit apologizing for where his heart has ended up. He's deciding to quit defending himself for the connection he has with Robyn. and no matter if people like it or not, he's finally being truthful about it all. So, as the one-on-one special airs, we're going to hear a lot more from Kody. More about the breakdowns, the decisions, the regrets, and also the acceptance. He's done holding back, and honestly, it might be the most real we've seen him in a long time. If you've been following the Sister Wives journey from the beginning, this is a major moment. We're watching the evolution of a man who once preached the beauty of plural marriage, now settle into a completely different life. And while it's been messy, painful, and at times uncomfortable, this is the reality of where things stand today. Kody Brown is no longer a polygamist. He's no longer 4 husbands to 1 wife. Kody Brown is no longer a polygamist. He's no longer 4 husbands to 1 wife. He's just one man, wed to 1 woman, and unwaveringly in love with her. And then, this moment right here, it really demonstrates just how fired up Kody is. So, during the one-on-one special, Sukanya raises a fundamental concept that's always existed at the center of polygamy, that each wife must be loved the same. That's the central tenet, correct? Equal love, equal attention, equal partnership. But Kody's response? He doesn't merely agree, he refutes it. Hard. He snaps back and responds, "Try that." Literally, he says to Sukanya, "Try that." And then he explains it in a way that really feels raw and really personal. He says, "Look, your relationships with your kids aren't all the same. You don't love them any less, but the attachments are different. Your friendships? Different too. Each connection has its own energy, its own purpose, its own satisfaction. And that's where he makes his case. He states not all relationships are going to be the same, even in plural marriage. Some make you feel comfortable, some make you feel challenged, some give you depth, and some, as he has with Robyn, give him what he defines as a higher love. But here's where it gets personal. Kody becomes angry, nearly enraged, and exclaims, "You find that type of deep spiritual love, and everyone knocks you down for it." He doesn't hold back. He goes on to say there's something divine about his relationship with Robyn, that it's not just affection or companionship, it's something more, something sacred. And yet, he feels like he's been constantly punished for it. He even uses the phrase, "We've been bitch-slapped for it," which shows just how emotionally charged he is about the criticism they've both received. He's sick of the judgment, sick of having to defend his heart, sick of having to justify why his love for Robyn is legitimate. And then Kody actually says something profound that resonates deeply. He reveals in a way we don't often see. He says, "I love this woman. I want peace in this relationship, but I've gotten to a place where I'm walking around flipping 2 birds at the world because I'm so sick and tired of being made to feel guilty for loving Robyn." It's raw. It's raw emotion. It's a man who's just done. Done pretending, done apologizing, done trying to make things that quite clearly weren't working anymore work. Because to him, he's not hurting anyone. He's just trying to be honest with the one person who continues to want to be here with him. Robyn's the only one that's still standing by his side, still fighting for them. And Kody's saying, "Why should I feel ashamed for loving that? Why should I feel guilty about that?" It's a dramatic moment. One of those scenes where you really see the whole situation differently after that. You can sense the weight of all that. Decades of fighting, rejection, accusations of favoritism, family drama, and then finally, Kody just standing up and saying, "Enough." He's not interested in being the perfect polygamist anymore. He's just interested in being a man who's in love and desires peace in that one relationship that still exists. And for better or worse, that's where he's at presently. Now, let's take a step back and examine how it all actually broke down. Because honestly, when you map out the timeline, it's quick. Almost like witnessing a slow-motion crash that suddenly picks up speed and smacks hard. Kody's marriages to Christine, Janelle, and Mary? They all fell apart one after another, all in a span of only 14 months. That's hardly more than a year, and that's 3 long-term relationship breakdowns, back to back. Christine was the one who made that jump first. In November 2021, she officially gave notice she was leaving. She was clear about it. She was finished attempting to make something happen that no longer felt like love. That was the moment in time. That was the start of things unraveling. Skip ahead to December 2022. Janelle followed suit. She stepped forward and attested that she too had broken up with Kody. She walked away after years of being in what many perceived as a solid, healthy aspect of the family unit. And then, a few weeks later, in January 2023, Mary, who had already been emotionally severed from Kody for many years, also attested that their spiritual union had come to an end. So within just a little more than a year, Kody lost 3 wives. Robyn is the sole one remaining with him. The sole one remaining. And so what was once a plural family is now a monogamous relationship. A massive shift, not just logistically, but emotionally, spiritually, and culturally. But what contributed to this disintegration? One of the largest underlying problems, something that continued to pop up throughout the years, was this persistent sense on the part of the other wives that Kody was playing favorites, that he wasn't dividing his love, time, and energy evenly. And the woman in the middle of all that trouble? Robyn. She's been the favorite for years, particularly for the viewers, and of course by the other wives as well. Whether or not Kody acknowledges it, his intimacy with Robyn pushed very deep cracks into the core of the plural marriage. The emotional inequality made everything more difficult to keep intact. Actually, during an interview with People last August 2023, Mary revealed what it actually felt to have lived through all that, particularly the emotional burden of jealousy. And this we never get to hear so candidly from her. She explained, any time that you add to your family, there's going to be a change. And that makes sense, right? You're not only bringing in another human, you're bringing in schedules, emotions, dynamics, expectations. She highlighted that it's not merely about where people sleep or how holidays are split. It's much deeper than that. It's about emotional bandwidth. She was honest. She didn't have the right tools at the time to handle the complicated feelings that came up, especially when Robyn entered the picture. Jealousy was one of those emotions she had a hard time dealing with, and it goes even deeper when you consider their religious background. Mary explained that in the fundamentalist Mormon faith they were part of, jealousy was seen almost as a moral failure, something to be ashamed of. You weren't supposed to feel it, and if you did, you had to bury it deep. You had to act like it didn't exist if you wanted to be seen as a good person. That's what she was taught. That being righteous meant hiding your discomfort. But when you're human, and emotions like jealousy are real and strong, what do you do with them when your own belief system tells you to push them down? That's the inner struggle Mary faced. Trying to navigate a plural marriage, dealing with favoritism, and fighting feelings she wasn't allowed to express, it was all bottled up for years. And over time, that emotional suppression just turned into distance, and eventually, into detachment. So, when you take all of that into account, it makes sense why everything unraveled the way it did. This wasn't just about who was spending more time with Kody. It was about deep-rooted emotional imbalance, suppressed pain, and a system that left very little room for open emotional healing. It's easy to watch from the outside and say, well, Robyn got all the love. But from the inside, from Mary's perspective, it wasn't that simple. It was a mix of broken expectations, emotional struggle, religious pressure, and years of trying to make peace with something that never felt peaceful. And that's what makes this whole story so layered and so human. Now, here's something really powerful that Mary shared, and honestly, it's something so many people can relate to. She said, "Now I understand that jealousy is okay." Think about that. After all those years in a plural marriage, living under the pressure of religious expectations, trying to be what she thought she had to be, she finally realized that jealousy, that raw, uncomfortable emotion we're all taught to avoid, is actually a signpost. It's not something shameful. It's a guide. She added, it actually can be used as a guide. And that right there, that's growth. That's insight. Because for so long, jealousy was something she thought made her a bad person, something she was supposed to push deep down and hide. But now she sees it differently. She sees that being jealous doesn't make you wrong. It makes you human. Talking about Kody, she was open about how that dynamic played out between them. She said, "I'm human. I'm going to get jealous. He's human. He's going to not know how to deal with a woman's jealousy." And isn't that just real? It's not just about blaming or defending. It's about two flawed people trying to navigate something incredibly difficult with almost no emotional roadmap. She recalled a moment where Kody would ask her, "If you're okay with them coming into the family, why are you jealous? Why are you having a hard time?" And her answer now makes total sense. She said, "Well, 1, I'm human. 2, I didn't understand that it's okay to be jealous. I thought I was a bad person for having those emotions." That right there, so many viewers felt that moment. Because how many of us have felt something deeply, only to then feel shame for feeling it? It's like this double emotional burden. You feel pain, and then you punish yourself for feeling it. Mary's journey through jealousy and emotional self-discovery is something the show never fully explored until now. And the reason it hits so hard is because it's coming from a place of years of keeping quiet, of trying to live up to an ideal that was never sustainable. And while we're talking about long journeys, let's not forget, Sister Wives has been on the air for 19 seasons. It's one of TLC's longest-running shows. It's not just a reality series. It's a chronicle of a real family that opened their doors to the world, year after year, season after season. It started in 2010. Can you believe that? That was over a decade ago. Since then, we've watched this family expand, shift, break apart, and try to rebuild. We've seen highs and lows, babies born, marriages tested, children growing up and leaving the nest. One of Kody's daughters, Gwendolyn, recently opened up about what it was like to grow up in front of the cameras. She said the experience of being filmed so much really impacted their lives, and that's something we don't talk about enough. Because while we're all watching and reacting to each episode, for the Brown kids, this was their actual life. Their childhood, their struggles, their family drama, broadcast to millions. It wasn't just a storyline. It was their truth. So when you zoom out and look at the whole picture, this isn't just a show about polygamy. It's a long, winding story about people trying to love, trying to belong, trying to survive within a system that, frankly, demanded a lot more emotional suppression than most people are equipped to handle. And as the series moved forward and the spotlight intensified, so did the cracks in the foundation. Robyn's entry into the family marked a big turning point, not just because she was younger or newer, but because her relationship with Kody was visibly different, more emotional, more tender, more romantic, and yes, more exclusive. And that difference, especially on camera, created a ripple effect. It triggered old wounds, stirred up insecurity, and pulled into focus all the things that weren't being said, that were being buried. And now, we're finally hearing those things. We're hearing Mary talk about emotions that she was never allowed to express. We're seeing Kody grappling with the backlash from years of decisions that may have felt right in the moment, but led to deep emotional consequences for everyone involved. And all of this, the unraveling, the self-discovery, the fallout, it's what makes the later seasons of Sister Wives more raw than ever. Let's talk about something Gwendolyn Brown said recently that really pulls back the curtain on what life really looked like for the Brown family in the early days of Sister Wives. And honestly, it might surprise you. So here's the deal. Season 19 of Sister Wives has been packed with drama, and one of the biggest storylines this season revolves around a major land dispute. Yeah, we're talking about Coyote Pass, that large stretch of property in Arizona that was supposed to be the Brown family's dream compound, the place where all 4 wives and Kody were going to build their forever homes side by side. But fast forward to today, and things look very different. Kody and his remaining wife, Robyn, ended up with 50% of that land after a legal settlement. Meanwhile, his exes, Mary and Janelle, walked away with 25% each. Christine, having left earlier, wasn't part of the deal anymore. And guess what? It didn't take long before they all decided to just sell the land to a third party. That's right, Coyote Pass, the land that once represented unity and dreams, was sold off for over $1.5 million. It's wild to think about, right? Because in the earlier seasons of the show, the Browns didn't exactly have wealth or stability. And that's where Gwendolyn's story comes in. She recently opened up about what life was really like before Sister Wives became the reality TV hit we know today. And her words? They're raw, honest, and eye-opening. Gwendolyn said that when the cameras first started rolling, she was just 8 years old. And back then, their family didn't have much at all. They were, in her words, living with real poverty. There were days when food was scarce, essentials were limited, and comfort? That was more of a hope than a reality. She explained that Sister Wives literally lifted them out of that life. She said, "We just got thrown into fame and thrown into money." And that one line really hits you. Because while a lot of people might look at the show as just entertainment, for the Brown family, especially the kids, it meant something life-changing. Suddenly, they had food, stability, a different kind of future. Gwendolyn even said, "I stopped wanting and needing things. Life is a lot easier for a kid who's not going hungry." Can you imagine? That's a powerful perspective from someone who lived through it. And while adults like Kody, Mary, or Robyn were managing the logistics and emotions of plural marriage under the spotlight, the kids, like Gwendolyn, were just experiencing this entire shift in real time. Going from not having enough to suddenly being on national television and having a lifestyle they could never have imagined before. Gwendolyn reflected on that period with a mix of honesty and a bit of humor. She said she was actually super into it as a kid. Because think about it. When you're 8 years old and